Hello, this is Deanna, and I am the Cosmic Engineer. In this video, I'm going to continue on with the WordPress website creation. And I did previously do a video on this just for, I did a initial video showing about how to do the hosting part of this. And then there was another video where I discussed the beginning part of it. Like there's different things you have to do once you get signed up with a WordPress host, and then you get WordPress installed on your server. Then you go in and you start doing what you need to do. I just went over a lot of the different windows that we'll be using in this video and other videos. So you might want to go back and look at that. They're all in a playlist on my channel, and I put that playlist link in the description of the video. So okay, so the first thing we're going to do is log into the administration section. People might call it the back end. That's usually what I call it. It might be old school, but that's what I call it because I'm old. And so it will be your domain name and then /WP-admin. So we'll just go in there and it will ask you for your credentials. So you can either use the email address that you signed up with initially, and typically when you use for say Bluehost, when they because they'll create the WordPress install for you, that's part of their service, which is lovely. And then they'll assign a username, probably like your first name, and then and an email address, and they'll give you, I think, a password that you can reset it at any point, so it's not anything that they can get into afterwards. So what was I going to say? So what I usually do, and I just want to say, there's never, in my experience for probably like 25 years doing IT stuff, that there really is no real way to be hack proofed. I mean, I think if you're like a super hacker, you can probably protect your stuff, but chances are that there's somebody even better than you. So I just like to put in a few things. I don't want to get stressed about things because my philosophy has always been, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If they can get into some of these really high level places, the really smart hackers, they could get into anywhere, right? So what I do though, they may give a username, say what your first name is. So if I created my account through Bluehost, they would say my username is Deanna and get a password. I prefer to, like, there's nothing wrong with having your name, but I also like to have one that's like a backup. In case something happens, then you can still get into your account. You can always do it with your hosting company, but I like to be able to do it on my own if I can. So I use admin Deanna for my username. And then I can create other accounts. Another thing just to note before we get started, if you ever feel like you want to get somebody, like hire somebody to do more work, maybe you can do the basic WordPress stuff, but then you want to create a store and you're not sure, you want to hire somebody for that. The best kind of procedure that I have always kind of followed as a business owner who does consult for other people, I always get an account, an admin account created for me, like a separate one. Many people are going to just say, oh, you can just sign into mine, but I personally prefer to have a separate account. That way, if there's any, if they decide they don't want me on whatever, they can just delete me. There's no worry about having to change their password and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's been always my procedure, I guess, is how maybe we would call it better. Okay, so anyway, that was just a sidebar. I chat a lot. So admin, I actually have put it in my little password thingy here so that I can not have to remember that password. So here we go. Here is, if you've looked at my other video, you'll see this already. So this is the the back end, the dashboard. This is where the magic happens to make WordPress look beautiful. So in the earlier video, we installed Elementor, which is a plugin, and this is basically how we'll build most of the look of the pages. And we also went over the customization. I think I discussed a bit about widgets, and menus is going to be where it says it, but at the top, usually it's at the top, or if you're on a mobile, it's the little three dash. They call that a hamburger menu, the three lines on top of each other. If you click that, that'll bring up the menu. So that's what this menu is, and you would create a menu. I can just do that now since it's pretty simple. Every theme that you use, because we also went ahead and did a theme, added a theme and the child theme in the previous video. So themes can give you, they'll give you one theme or one menu for sure, one main menu for sure, but a lot of them will add different options. So in this particular one, you could have your main menu, a footer, a special mobile one. What is this? No, I never do this because I don't want every single page I do to be part of the menu. And then a top bar. So right now we're just going to do a main one. Great spell would be good. So main menu, create. Okay, so at this point we don't have, I'm going to show you the different things that come with it when you do an install. But right now we're just going to leave it alone. We created it. I've just saved it again. We'll sort out the locations if we need to. You can always change it. You can do it in the customized part as well. So let me go just quickly through when an install is done of WordPress, you get a few little bits added just so you can have an idea of where the content is. So in this case, they add a post. They add a comment that goes to that post, and they add page. They always have this privacy. The last few years that it installs with the privacy policy. You can read through that yourself and decide if you want to just, adjust it to your needs and then publish that. It's always good to do that. It's always really good also to have a return or refund policy if you're selling. Even if you're selling sessions, like if you're a coach or some type of a therapist, that you're doing any kind of sessions, these things are really important to put into your site just so that there's no issues. It's up front. I mean, if they can't find it, that's not your issue. It's the issue is that you actually have them on there, and that way somebody going through is going to be able to say, okay, well, if I don't want, if you have a policy, a return policy, it's like if you're not satisfied in how many days, that kind of stuff. And just things like it, depending on what it is that your business is. If you're just sharing knowledge, you don't necessarily need to do anything like that, right? But if you're selling a service or a product, I feel like you really should put something just to cover all the bases, and helps the customer feel a little bit more assured about purchasing from you. And it also gives you boundaries on what you will and won't do if a customer isn't happy. Okay, so in this case, it always comes with a sample, and then that kind of thing. I always get rid of these things because they get rid of, or they put things in it that I want to start from a blank slate. That's how I like to do it, because I know exactly how I want things, and that's going to be how I show you. And of course, you don't have to do what I say. You can just play around with yourself. But I figured it was easier if we go through what I do. It's fairly simple, and the more comfortable you get, the more you'll want to play around, perhaps, or not. So I'm just going to trash this one. This is my typical to do. And I think I put that in there myself. For some reason, I'm just going to delete this. I think I was testing a sizing. Pages, oh, I already did that. Posts. So I'm going to trash it and delete it. This is not necessary to delete permanently. I just like to because that's who I am. Okay, comments. No comments. Okay. So let's get started with a page. I'll create a couple of, I'll leave the privacy policy here just because I might want to go back on my own and look into it. And if you want to just see what they do, this is why I wouldn't delete it because it gives me a framework if I choose to use this later on. So, because you know how those legal things can be like overwhelming. So sometimes if you just have some type of language to start with, then it just makes it easier, I think. So I'm going to add 2 new pages right now so that we can go into customization and just set up how the website will look. So I'll just do one as home. And so when you're doing a new page, what will happen is, first of all, I want to not page attributes, template. So almost always I do a element because I'm using Elementor as the page builder, and I will do a full width option. So I'll always change that to full width. If you want to do, I mean, this theme comes with the landing page, but since I'm using Elementor, I just do Canvas. So one of the nice things about using this theme and the Elementor is that you could do a landing page. And if you're wondering what that is, typically a landing page it's a sales page, but it doesn't have like links on it. For example, like if you open it up, you wouldn't see a header in the same way as what you're going to see on your website. So you would just basically see like maybe a beautiful image, some nice, headings and like catchy tags to try and, so if you want someone to like join your course and you go through in the different sections with some different imaging and some words to entice them in, this is why they would want to sign up for your course. And you can put in things like, contact me here, buttons and all that stuff, but it wouldn't have the typical like home, about me, that kind of thing, contact me. And then at the bottom, sometimes on the footer, it will give you more, like that maybe where you see privacy policy and stuff like that. So you have the option to add stuff like that in, but the Elementor Canvas template is basically just completely blank, start from scratch. There'll be nothing pulled in from the theme pretty much. So, but this isn't what we're doing. We're doing a full width. And the permalink is something that we're, I think we did set it, but I'll just go double check what a permalink will show. So this is going to be basically, so now that I've set it as home, if you type in cosmicengineer.ca/home, it would bring you the home page. But of course, because it's the home page that we'll set, just typing cosmicengineer.ca will get you there too. But say we'll do the next page that would be, say, the about page. If you then would type in Cosmic Engineer /about, it's going to pull you right to that page. So that's what this means, a permalink or a slug. It's this here. So I will publish that and push that again. And then I'm going to add another page and I will do a blog and I will do the same template, full width. And you'll see it says blog. Okay, so now we're going to go to appearance, and this is just going to be the start point to set. And here is where you do it. It's in home page settings. So I believe I covered this before on the other video, but the reason for this is WordPress itself was originally created to be a blogging platform. And I mean, it's just, people just started using it to create websites as well. And, you know, back in the day, it was very dependent on coding, HTML, JavaScript, all that kind of stuff. So there was some serious um, skilled people doing their own websites or having their websites created by designers. But now, as we've gotten more and more reliant on easy things, easy ways to do websites, you know, WordPress has kept up with that. And you have the option now of doing your latest posts. So when you sign into, or if you just go in your browser and type cosmicengineer.ca, I had it at latest post, it's going to just display my post page, and which is fine. And you can decorate how you want, but typically using a static page and then saying, I want my home page to be the home and I want the post page to be the blog, then this way you can create whatever you want on the home page and you can link to the blog. That's what a lot of people will do. But there are some themes, if you don't use the theme that I state here, there are definitely themes that are built on your latest post as the home page, and they have crafted the coding of their theme to work with different features that come with the blog page. So I won't say much more about that because it could be very confusing. Okay, so we've got that set. We're going to sort out what's on here in a bit, but I just want to go to header. So in this case, I'm going to add, you can do an image or you can just do the words. But I do have an image. And so this is where we don't have any images now. And I have already done a so we'll just try this one and see. Now you can see how this is the logo, and I'm not sure I really understand 100%. I'll be quite honest what the difference logo with the Retina logo, but we'll just leave it at that. So this will get formatted a bit better later. I just wanted to add the logo file. And if you go to the Canva video that I did, I showed how to create a simple logo like this and download that logo with no background, with a transparent background, which is always helpful because if I wanted to make this header have a background color, this would still show just as the writing. So the nice thing is that by doing it with a transparent background, you don't have any, you know, so if I didn't do this, and I had, say, a black bar up at the top, this would show not just the wording, it would also show the background being a square, white square, which I don't find attractive. And this is where you can change in the header, you can change the coloring. So if you just wanted it to be red, woo. So we can play with that a bit later. Okay, so I'm going to just back out of here. And that's showing you the 2 pages. You may or may not want to do a post, but here is how you will do it. It's the same concept. And this. Now, the thing that is a little bit different is with a blog, it's not that you don't have the option in a page, but this tends to be a little bit more important perhaps when you're doing the blog, the posts. So you want an image. So you would add an image. And so what'll happen, for example, is that the blog, and we'll go through this, the blog page, you can set it up to show it in each blog, like just line by line in, say, numeric or date order, oldest to newest, newest to oldest, that kind of thing. Or you can set it up in like blocks. So you can put 2 or 3 blocks with a little bit of text underneath and say maybe then the next row is going to say that show the next. So you might show the newest 3 up at the top, and then the next one will be the next 3, that kind of thing. So you have different options to stylize the actual blog presentation page. But you want to put a feature image in, and I recommend to be a little bit like precise, perhaps is the word, in that they're the same size, and that's when Canva can come in really handy. So whatever picture you would want to be the feature image for the blog, make sure that they're all the same, either, all of them being square, or they can be a rectangle, but not like huge variances in the dimensions. And then a category is how if you're blogging about several different types of thing, like for example, if you're an urban gardener and you wanted to talk about different types of vegetables and any like flowers, anything that you're wanting, you could categorize them like summer crop, winter crop, that kind of thing. And then that would be the category. So you would assign whatever category to your blog post that you want, so that then if someone's searching under categories, they can just see all of the ones that are set up for that category. So any ones that you've posted in the category, when they click on it, they'll see all of the posts. So that's, in general terms, how we do a blog post. Wow, that seems to be taking quite a while. All right. So hopefully this isn't too all over the place. I'm trying to be a bit methodical. I just wanted to go, now I see this settings permalinks, and just make sure. So when you get, I think I covered this in the first email, but or the first video, but I'll just double check or just go over it again. Oh boy. Post name is the one that I always use. I think this is going to show you, if it's on here, it will show you the post name by default. It never used to. They always used to have this one, the plain one at the top. That was always the default, and that's not my preference. I just wanted to show the name. So whatever it is that you call your post or page, that's going to show up as when it says post name, but that could be also the page name. So it was already set. Okay, so let's go in. Let's do a couple of pages, and then I think I'll go to, we can set up the menu, and then we can go in and do a bit of styling inside of the customization with links for like colors and like colors for links. Okay, so I'm sometimes my brain goes faster than my mouth. So when you do a link in a website, you can assign the link itself to be a different color than the text. So that kind of highlights that you've actually inserted a link into the written text that you've done. But it also allows you to show a color. If you hover your mouse over that, it'll shift color. And then there's also another color you can assign that it's like it's already been used, so it's active. You've already clicked it before. So those are the kind of things we can play around with a bit in the customization, as well as setting the fonts. I wonder maybe. Okay, we're going to go do the fonts and the colors to go with the fonts. So typography. You can set specifically a lot, which we did go through, but we're actually going to do it. So I prefer, and this is totally preference. Oops, I thought I typed up here. Railway is my preferred font. You can also check the color. So what I did is a little bit of you should be able to see this in Windows. I always use a notepad. And when I'm in my MacBook, then I always use the notes option there, the notes app that's in there. And then I will make all kinds of notes for different things I want to do or save or copy and paste, that kind of thing, rather than searching. So when I have everything, and that way, if I actually end up finding that these colors, for example, don't actually work quite the way I imagined, I can go and make a change, and then I'll just change it. And then I save this for later because it's helpful. If it's for a client, I can send that to them so they know what I've done. But if it's for myself, then, I can always go back and see, instead of having to go in each page and click and see what I actually did for the color, I have the master template, so to speak, right here. So I am going to, here's what I decided would be the body color of the text. So we will just do this. And then we will publish. So publish is saving that change. And now I want to also do headings. You can, there's, like it shows here, there's 4 different sizes of a heading. And you can make each one of those have their own font and their own colors, their own size. They have it set up here as default, but you can change all of this stuff. So heading 1 is like the biggest one, and heading 4 is the smallest of the headings. So what I'm going to do here, why it's giving me a trouble for searching, because that used to never happen. There's a specific one that I like. I'm just looking. Hold on. Well, apparently they've not allowed me to have the one that I want. I will use this one because it's the one I can find. And then I have this color here. And I will do this. Whoops. Okay. So that's it for now, I think. And Elementor, you can tell it to so if you check these boxes in the settings of Elementor, it's going to use the settings that you did in the what we just did in customize, and that can be actually really handy because otherwise it's going to use its own, and you can set it up in as a default inside of Elementor, but that's double the work. So okay, let's go in here and let's do a new page too, because I wanted to do an about page. Oops. Okay. Change it here. So now once you do the first part, it's not in Elementor yet. So for the very first time that you're going to set the page to do Elementor, you must click Edit with Elementor up here. When you go into it in future, once you've saved it as an Elementor page, there should be a big block here that says Edit with Elementor. Okay, so here we go. Now you can see this is one of the headings, and it has changed it to the font that I picked. So that's cool. And I'll go through and show there's a place to make sure that you don't, if you don't want this. I personally don't like to have this kind of thing, especially if it's on a home page, but it's up to me that way to do something different. I don't want these things on here when I do it, but that's a personal preference for me. But we'll go in and shift that so I can show you where that's done later. So let's do, so this is like it's showing is selecting your structure, and you have a few options that you can do. And there's many ways to go through the best way. For you, it's kind of like a personal thing in a lot of cases, because I've tried different things and I sort of have I've tried different ones of these, but I find that I have a bit of a flow that I like better. So I tend to generally just use this. And then I will often use the intersection and play. That's mostly what I do. So you can either just click plus and it'll show you, but you can drag it. So we'll do a heading. And you can do that. It's already giving this tag. You could change it to this one if you want. And let's just see. It should be showing. I'm not sure if I changed the size. I tend to not, I like it a lot bigger. And the color looks like it's changed. Once you've done the update, you can click the little, kind of looks like an eye. And it's going to show you what it will look like. Just so you know. So you can see it, like it does have this bar up top, but it's not in with all of this bits on the left and stuff. Okay, so now we can just do an image. And while we're at it, we can just do text right underneath that. So let's go do an image in Canva. I'll update this so I've saved what I added. And let me go to Canva and I'll show you quickly. I'm just going to do a quick little we'll just do a 5x5, 500 by 500 should be good. And I've got a little picture of me. Oh, that was funny. It made me giggle when I did that selection. So before I do this, I'm going to just show you, this is how I like to kind of personalize it a little bit maybe, or like adjust it instead of it's just a plain old square or rectangle. So I'll just go down. We did cover this in the Canva, but I'll just go over it quickly. So it's a frame, and you have, again, this is the paid version. So they won't, if you have a free version, you won't have all of these options to drag and drop. They'll right, these are free, but then there's paid ones later on, and they'll just have a little crown on them that you can't use if you don't have the paid version. So you could make a circle, a rounded square, that kind of thing. I'm just going to go to my recent ones because I kind of like, these are fairly similar, but this is a little bit more exaggerated with the curve. So I'll just do that. And I'll go back to my upload and I'll do this. Okay, so we're going to save this without a background. And this should allow the image shape that I selected. Okay, so I'm going to cancel out of that. I'm going to go back over here. And if you click now on here, it's going to allow you to choose an image. And insert it. And of course, it makes sense if I will take, and this is completely up to you because I did do it with a white background. Here you can change the color. I'm going to just grab, I think I'll just try this color here, just to give you an idea of oh, it's not showing it. Well, there you go. That's live action. Oops. So this reverses what you just did. Save it. I'm going to go back into Canva. Refresh what I did. I'm quite sure why it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Yeah, it's coming up completely blank. Well, let's see if this one's a little bit more. Oh, isn't that bizarre? Honestly, like I have, look at this picture that I just did here. It's showing what I did, the little picture, I put it inside it, but this particular one is not wanting to cooperate with me. Oh my goodness. That's too funny. And I'm not restarting this video. You can, I think you'll enjoy the fact that I have been outsmarted by Canva. See, that one did it. Wonder if it's the little emoji picture that I picked. Perhaps. Okay, well, that could be the case. I'm not gonna drive everybody crazy. what I will do is you can make that say medium sized, center, and very curious if it's going to do anything. Okay, and we're going to do this wording. This will be the about me. So you can see that to do, you drop the elements into this place here, and then you put the content in that will go in the element. You will put the content on the left-hand side, and you can, you can do something like, let me just show you, I'll update this and then I'll show you if you want to do something that isn't just like this. So say if you're on the front page and you want it to be slightly more compact, you could do, if you did an inner section, you could do the image here. And just do this. And say you could have it as the left. You could drag this over here so it's not quite so big. And then you could put in the text here. And, you can play with this. You can make this slightly bigger. And you can see the difference then, right, in the display. So I like this type of style here when I'm doing something, like I said, on the front page. So you want to try and not make it scroll forever and ever and ever with like tons and tons of content. But when you have something like the about me, then it's easy enough to just do it big like this because it's really the only thing on there. So in this case, I'm not going to keep this. So I'll just X it. And then we'll save it again. Okay, so one of the things that I really like about Elementor is that you can do some, I think they're kind of cool. Oops, and I don't want to do that. They're design features. So if you click on, so this whole thing here is a section. So when you do this plus and put in what you want here, this is a section. And then you can do, like, this would be a row. So if you want to, you can do, if you want, you can make styles like how I added that purple background or the red background, whatever that was here. It would only be on this particular block or section or like intersection. I forget what they call it exactly. A row. Section is the big thing. Rows are the separating ones, but you could make it be like all part of the design is that you could change the colors here so that they're slightly more highlighted. So say this was white, you could make this a very pale, blue gray or something, and it would slightly show a significant like that you've shifted to a new thing. It's really design. It's up to you how you want to do that. I've done that before. I was doing like a sales page for somebody and went through and just did the different sections. Even I added different sections and I colored the background of those. So if you wanted just this part, you would go to the advanced and you would go with the background. And so in this case, you could do an image, or you could just do a color. So you can add an image just to show you that I will add this. And then you can place it, repeating it, no repeat, size, cover, contain. So that's how you can play around with that. So I didn't have the best picture, right? So you can change the color. As if you don't want a picture, you could just put a color, and you would just go in here and add the color code and make that change. Now, if you want, you could do that for the whole section. And this gives you a little bit more. You do it in style here, and you could change stuff about just this particular section. So it'll come in with the default information about the color and for the heading and stuff like that, and the alignment, but you can also just change it just for this. So you're not having to change your defaults, but you want to make one particular section stand out. You could do a border around it, and the radius makes it makes each of the corners become rounded. And so the bigger the radius is, the more rounded. So if I think I can just show from here. See how it's coming down on all the corners? Now you could just do, I don't know why you would, but you could, if you uncheck this, they're not going to be the same. So the left and the right. Okay, so here's how you could do it. So that would be interesting. That's similar to what I was trying to do with the this image, make it look like this. So it's rounded on these opposite corners, but it's regular size on these corners. So that's what the border could do. You could also put it in, like, do you want it in right? So it's up to you how you want to do that, but we're not going to do that. And I'm going to select 0 here. Whoops. Okay. So the reason, and I'm also take out this color, that I come here, and I really do love this particular feature that they have, and this is a shape divider. And it gives you an option in your section, whether you want it on the top or the bottom or both, and you can have your choice of options, how you want it to look for each of, you can have them the same or you can separate them. So what I tend to do is I just find it looks really pretty. So here right now is the footer, and we don't really have anything in the footer. So if this was the only thing that's on the page, it will meet when you open it up in a browser without being in this back end part, it's going to meet the footer and connect. If there's a bottom border on this section, it'll connect that together so it has a nice flow. So for example, let me do a bottom border, and I quite like this one. And I'm going to just show, I think that right now the bottom is black. Right? Okay. So here it is, and I'm going to make it maybe not quite that big as it was. And we will save it. And just because it tends to run into this without a spacer, then I will drop a spacer in right under the text. So you can see, so I'm going to update and I'll show you. Let's see how it works. I haven't done any adjustments to the footer, so I'm just guessing that this will work out. So let's go check. Okay, so here is what I was talking about. So it doesn't have to be this big. It can be a different pattern altogether, but I find this to be really nice and it's really not very difficult. And that's the way to get a very, very nice, clean, pleasant looking site. You know, you could pay a lot of money to somebody to do something super amazing. And I'm not against any of that. Obviously I do that for clients, but this is meant to help people who want to put together something on their own. They don't have the money or whatever to hire somebody. It's really not that difficult to make it look, very nicely put together. That's my goal here. So by doing this, it's color, it can be color specific. So let's go and grab this one here. I'm going to make this kind of the main color. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to change the color. And it won't match now, but we'll update the footer so that it will all blend. But you also have the option to put something in at the top, for example. And there's lots and lots of options in my opinion. Okay, so here is something like this that you can do. This is what they're calling mountains. It can just be very slight. You could do triangle, asymmetrical triangle. This one's kind of neat. And this one is also kind of neat. Now, in this case, when you're doing a top one, you're going to want to do the same thing and put a spacer above so that it's not going to overshadow the title. I'll just give an idea. This is how, and by making it, so we'll go back here, shape divider. So you can make this go like this. This changes slightly how the coloring really in the end of the day of the each of these sort of fan lines. And this isn't, it shows you the option, but it's not really it doesn't always do anything. It depends on what the designs are in the whole section. So what else do we have? Another one that, is it a book? This one's good when you flip it as well. So it's just a cute way to point, and you could make that a little bit, so it makes it a little bit fatter along the top instead of super skinny. This is kind of handy if you're doing a bunch of different sections. Like for example, the sales page I was talking about, one of the other things I put in place were these shape dividers. So then I would break it out into different sections and it would kind of flow in like a point here. This is next. And maybe the fan one would be another way to highlight that this is the bio of the person, stuff like that. So this is one of the really cool features that I like about Elementor, that allows that for you to do that kind of thing. So let's just go here. And this is how you exit. So click on the hamburger menu here, the 3 lines, and then exit to dashboard. and it's going to take you back to this page. And at this point, you just click this black area with the W in it, and it'll take you to your pages. So what I'm going to do now, and I think I'm just going to finish off because I think it's a lot to, if I go on and on and on, I'll do the next video. So this may be many, many videos, but I'm hoping to do it. The first big one I did was like almost an hour. I think that was maybe too much for someone to sit through when they're learning. So let's just go to where I don't think we're going to do footer widgets in this. It's not really that necessary. But footer bottom here is where background color, I'm going to do the same color. That's my theme color. Okay, and now it's going to match up with that page. And we can do the text color could be white. And I know that one off by heart is 6F. 6Fs. Okay, so there's that. And we don't at this point have link stuff. The link color is also white, and then the hover, I think I have a note here for a hover color. I'll just put that in. So and here is where it will show you. So I'm just going to say Cosmic Engineer. And we publish it. So this will show up as the actual date, and it's going to change every year. So you will always have the current year date in here. And I will at some point go in and get the HTML code to do a copyright symbol. So that's an option as well. Okay. So one thing I'm going to do is, since I'm here, typography, I want to get to heading 1. I want that to be about, say, 50. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly, if you want to look at your site at any point from inside of here, you can just click this link. I always do a new tab. I open a new tab. So however you open your new tab on your computer, I just right click and do this if I'm on a Windows. This just shows you a little bit. Oh, because I didn't do it, I'll have to put that in. Let me just show you because I haven't adjusted. Now you can see what it looks like. So that's an idea of what we could do. And of course, we've got work to do, but I will stop this now and we will continue with some of the other pages and start to build out the stuff, the pages that are involved, the menu items, and some of the design stuff, perhaps additional pictures, that kind of thing. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that it is helpful. And I will see you soon.